out to my exes.
Acting by night. Keep going crazy.
Show off your skin, that shit is popping, girl. Body on 10, damn, you got it, girl. You gotta boss up. Getting them checks, living your best. Racks up. Oh, keep walking with confidence. Effortlessly, you let them know who is in command. You just that and more. Don't forget it. God worked hard on you for sure. Exodus. Shout out to my exes.
Hello, guys. It is Lexus Exodus, leading the Black Women Exodus. How are you guys doing? I hope you are having a good day. Like always, if you like this content, please like and subscribe. Please also share. Also, please comment. You guys have no idea how much of a kick I get out of the commentary that you guys leave in the comment section. It's just really, really fun, and I really enjoy that we're building community here and that there's so much engagement. So please pause this video for a second and do so. I'm trying to get this channel off the ground. So every like, every share, every subscription really, really does matter. Every comment really does matter, and I try to respond to every single one. So please do so. Also, if you have any questions, comments, or just want to say hello, feel free to inbox me at lexusexoduschannel@gmail.com. How are y'all? I did not expect to be back here so soon. But I had to come back. It's 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning for me. And I had to come back because, and to do a follow-up video because yesterday evening, T.I., Bill Cosby Jr. released a response video about all of the sexual abuse allegations that he and his wife are currently facing. So I am going to play that and we are going to unpack.
Hey, so as y'all could probably guess or imagine, it's been extremely difficult for me to remain quiet in light of all the things that have transpired and all of the egregious allegations that's been tossed around about me and my wife. But it's a reason for that, and I don't mind sharing it. You see, if a person does not have any right to criminally or civilly have you in court, they have no right. The best thing they could do is get you for a defamation suit, drag you in court, make you pay their legal bills, but get you in court. Now, I mean, at this point, man, it's at the point where that don't even matter to me no more. First and foremost, I want to say my wife is a beautiful person with an amazing spirit and a kind heart. She's a devoted mother, and she has a humble soul. She don't deserve it. Now, what we're not going to do is open up the door to my bedroom, as you shouldn't have to either. Open up the door to my bedroom for everybody to come in and chime in and make their opinions about what we do and don't do or should or shouldn't do. But I will say this. Whatever we ever have done has been done with consensual adults who into what we into and like what we like. If we want something, we know exactly where to go to get it. We ain't never forced nobody. We ain't never drugged nobody against their will. We ain't never held nobody against their will. We ain't never made nobody do anything. We ain't never trafficked anything. Well, sexually trafficked anything. I ain't never raped nobody. Never raped nobody. Black women in particular should be supported, protected, defended, and uplifted. However, evil has no gender. People with evil intentions have no gender. A threat comes in all shapes and sizes.
Okay. Y'all hear that mess? Yeah. So, my knee-jerk initial reaction is this is a very bizarre response for very serious allegations. I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer, but it seems pretty incriminating to me, and it really seems based off of his responses that he did not seek professional help, that he did not seek legal counsel or the advice of an attorney, because I can't imagine with 15 women coming forward alleging that they were victimized by T.I. and having these types of allegations, especially in 2021 in the Me Too era, that this is something that an attorney advised him was okay to do. I don't know, but anywho, let's start to unpack this. So first off, my first reaction to this is T.I. looks disheveled. He looks like he's been losing sleep. He looks very, very tired. He doesn't look well groomed. You see the messy beard. He's usually a lot cleaner. His hair too usually has a fresh cut. And in this video, he looks very unkempt. He doesn't look like a well-rested, unbothered person. I imagine there probably is a lot of chaos in the Harris, the Tip Harris households right now. But yeah. The other thing I noticed is he made sure to clarify that his wife has nothing to do with this bullshit. So basically, he's saying this is a result of his own antics. There is bullshit that happened, but it's not his wife's fault. So, which was surprising to me. I mean, not surprising that, of course, Tiny didn't have anything to do with it. We know that Tiny usually just goes with the okie doke, and we know that she is a very submissive wife. And I mean, he's right that she doesn't deserve this. She doesn't deserve to experience the backlash of his bullshit just because she kind of agreed to engage in some of his shenanigans, doing the threesomes and stuff, and recruiting other women. She did that trying to keep her man. But that wasn't what was surprising to me. What was surprising to me is the fact that, I don't know, like when you're not guilty of something, you just say no. That's it. I mean, the truth doesn't need any explanations. And if someone had accused me of rape allegations, that would just be so bizarre and so outlandish. I'd just be like, no, clear cut. No, we don't need to go through this whole drawn out story and alibi about what actually happened and what didn't happen. No, I didn't do that. So that lets you know there's something. Where there's smoke, there's fire. What he says in the video is what we not going to do is open up the door to our bedroom. Really? So instead of denying these allegations outright because they're not true and because they're monstrous and that's not anything that, you would do, basically you're just saying it is true and it's accurate, but what we do behind closed doors is our business. And you have no right to share that with the world. What the hell? Like, and this is why there's no way that he talked to an attorney or a PR team before doing this, because he's opening himself up to really be vulnerable to lots of lawsuits and lots of legal implications with that type of response. He also, it sounded to be like he's just saying, oh yeah, we do all these things. We have orgies and we get drugged out and abuse substances with all these random women. But then he says, we know where to get it. We know where to get it. Verbatim is what he says, which is just like so strange to me because, like I said, when I haven't done something, if something is so outlandish, like it's like someone saying, oh, Alexis, you murdered someone. Huh? It would be so bizarre and so outlandish. I wouldn't have to share this whole 5-part video response. It'd just be like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, that's not true. I'm not going to go on a tirade and say, don't open up, my bedroom door to my business, and if I like to kill people, I know where to find them. Like, it's just such a weird reaction to such serious allegations. And I think that we need to think critically So, like I said, he probably should have consulted his attorneys and should have sought professional help before saying anything. He probably should just kept his mouth shut, because it sounds like there's lots of truth to what these women are saying. And I don't know that 15 women coming out saying the same thing. Yeah. Well, I mean, what do we expect? There's truth to that. I don't know why 15 random women would have the similar allegations. Yeah, and I think if he would have talked to an attorney, they would have told him, with those types of allegations and millions to lose and being that type of high profile person, you just need to shut the fuck up. I mean, you're incriminating yourself. And to be a career criminal, you sure are a dumb one, T.I. Although you like to use all of those complex words, you don't strike me as a very, very smart person. And then in this video also, this big dummy admits to drug trafficking. And I don't know about y'all, but again, what attorney or what PR person told you this was okay to do? I know that, that's common and acceptable in Blackistan to sell drugs, but let's say that these are allegations that escalate into something more serious and T.I. gets indicted on this and has to go to trial. The average person is going to look at that as a character flaw. And they're going to give you the side eye and will question your character on everything if you admittedly kind of proudly boast that you traffic drugs. Just not sex trafficking. Like, what the hell? Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's saying that and then mentioning that so nonchalantly, almost proudly, most people will look at that and say, well, shoot, I don't know that you're not guilty if you're admittedly guilty of other questionable things. The other thing that pissed me off is he finishes his dumbass response with, protect Black women. Nigga, fuck you. Really. Really. Like, let's not throw that in to save your ass. You don't protect Black women. You don't. We know you don't. You do the fucking exact opposite. You do the opposite. You've consciously harmed and hindered many Black women. From your degradation and all of your lyrics of Black women and your songs. I was looking through some of the lyrics. He says in one song, leaving semen in they pretty faces. Disgusting. He says, hit the club strippers, give neck before I sit down. Then he says, super thick, pretty face, menage a vente, 20 at the same time, want to get your rent paid. Just disgusting lyrics, a documented history of disrespecting Black women and not protecting Black women, doing the opposite. You've also degraded and degraded several women by cheating and being a womanizer. You've had several affairs, and poor Tiny has been by your side like a dummy, but you've had several affairs on her and have publicly humiliated her by having children on her. I know that they have 7 children on the Family Hustle, I think their show is called, but I think only a few of those are actually Tiny's. You fuck everything in sight. You're always publicly caught, photographed with other women doing inappropriate things, groping women. I remember you being caught on camera doing while married. So yeah, you're a well-known womanizer that publicly humiliates the women in your life. Let's not forget, you like to check your Black daughter's sexual organs and then announce it publicly like it's a fucking joke. You don't protect Black women. So let's not, I know that it's popular on social media to pretend that, that's something that you strongly believe in to get clout. Because, Black women, they fall for that. It's emotionally manipulative. And it sounds good. But at the end of the day, if you're not practicing that in your everyday life, don't say that. You don't get to say that, and you don't get to fall back on that. Especially now with so many women coming out, so many Black women that you're saying that you protect coming out and saying that you've hurt them. So this video, I don't know, like kind of all this stuff that's been going on in the news with the woman being attacked at the liquor store, and with all of these allegations of, TI's abuse allegations and sexual abuse allegations. It was a little bit triggering for me. But what it inspired me, though, to do is I started to think about like all of the signs that I see in these men, and all of the signs that I wish I would have known when I was younger of abusive men. And so I wanted to add a portion or dedicate a portion of this video to talk through some of the signs, some of the red flags that young women or women in general should look out for, to tell if you're dating a physically or sexually abusive person. In my case, I was a victim of domestic abuse, and so like a lot of the things, the deflection that we see Ti doing, a lot of the abusers like to have this polished persona. And a lot of them have narcissistic traits. So a lot of that was displayed in this video reminded me of what I experienced. I want to share some of these signs, and in hopes that I help some of the younger women that enjoy my content, and other unsuspecting women, just so you don't have to experience the same tragedy and the same experiences that I did, and some of these other women that were abused by Ti did. So one of the main things I'll say that is like a major red flag, that's a early sign of an abuser, is they're verbally abusive. And so you guys have to understand that there is a lot. I mean, this is very nuanced. So domestic violence isn't something where, I know like Tyler Perry likes to have it so that like one day a guy is, flowers and candy and champagne, and then the next day he beating your ass and the wife end up in a casket. But that's not really how domestic violence works. It usually is more of a gradual transition. It happens with little things here and there, small things here and there. And one of the things that I've noticed is that people who are abusers, they start with verbally abusing the woman that they're with. So let's think about this, right? So think about your personal experiences. How many men do you know that argue with women? They just don't. Real men don't engage in arguments or confrontations with women. And to quote the infamous words of Nene from Real Housewives, men, for the most part, stay out of women's business. And I don't know, like you'll see like gay men do this a lot. They'll argue with women sometimes, but that's because they're female identified. And that may be controversial, but that's true. I remember growing up and being in class, and all the gay men would just go at it with the teachers. The boys, though, who were straight and narrow, did not do that. They'll have you'll have disagreements. So don't get me wrong. You'll have disagreements, but real men don't argue or berate women. And there's a difference between arguing and just disagreeing with someone. They won't engage in the ranting and raving. They're certainly not screaming and berating you, which is one thing that I've noticed with abusive men early on. They'll call you names if you have a verbal disagreement. They'll cuss you out. They'll yell at you. Because they're emotionally imbalanced. And that really, really is a good indicator of future abuse when they do that. In my current marriage, my husband won't even raise his voice at me in 6 years. Not once. He doesn't have any of that feminine energy or abusive energy. And so he just doesn't engage in arguing with women. Typically, like if I've noticed when I was younger and more of a firecracker, they won't engage. I'll call you later. Okay. You know what I mean? Like it's not that they don't enjoy doing that. But when I was in a domestic violence relationship, my ex, on the other hand, would often berate and yell and belittle me. He was feminine identified and was toxic and abusive. So he started off with being very verbally abusive, yelling before anything. Like I mentioned, name calling. I'm sorry, guys. That was really gross. I'm a little congested. But yeah. So, calling the B word, hoes, no respect at all for women and how to interact with women. I think most people understand that women and children are supposed to be protected and are supposed to be preserved, not berated and abused. So a very early sign of abuse from my ex was name calling. And I highly caution you, women, if you're experiencing things like that now, it escalates, and that is really a big indicator of future abuse. I was very highly educated. You guys know my credentials, and I was a firecracker younger. This person would diminish this and would diminish my accomplishments. Would also try to diminish my physical appearance. Would tell me no one wanted me. This person told me, I was ugly and black and, he should have chosen to marry a white girl is what he said verbatim. And it's so funny because fast forward, now that I'm divested and elevated, how the tables have turned, and I'm happily married to a successful non-black person, and I'm living a great life. I also, back then when I was with this person, this was like the early 2000s, and I unfortunately graduated from college during the housing crash, and it was so difficult for me to find a job with my credentials. And I remember back then this person that I was with telling me when I would interview for jobs, you're not going to get the job anyway. And I remember just that being so deflating, but that was his way of knocking me down to his level because I was, I was more highly educated than him. I was more accomplished than him. And, he just needed to knock me down a peg. So I didn't get too big of a head, and some of the ego didn't get too big. So I didn't realize that I deserved better. Fast forward now, I'm making six figures with all my degrees and have a very established, respected career. So, yeah, see what I mean, though? Like, there are early signs like that can be easily recognized by men who are abusive. They'll devalue you and try to deflate you before the physical abuse starts. Another thing that's a really, really big red flag is punching walls and other inanimate objects. This is something that's correlated with abusive behavior. My ex would punch holes in the wall. He would break TVs, break laptops, phones, anything he could get his hands on. So again, this is just more of a sign of anger issues because it's like, why are you damaging things? Especially I couldn't quite understand it just because I'm a practical person and we end up having to pay for it. So like one of the things that was broken was this brand new TV we got. Well, then you ended up having to buy a new one and spend another $1,000 on it the following week. So I never really understood that on a practical level. But now, in hindsight, I understand that it's more so a demonstration of being unable to control emotions and not being emotionally stable. Normal men they won't damage property. That's just a lot of aggression and is a major red flag. And I remember once that situation escalated and being in court and trying to get a protection order, all I had to do was show the judge pictures of the holes in the wall. And he said, oh yeah, I can tell that you're abusive because normal men who are emotionally healthy don't do things like that. Also, threatening to hurt things close to you are actually doing so. Like pets and relatives. So this is something that my ex would do often. I remember I purchased a pet, a little dog, a little Bichon, and he threatened to kill my dog and to throw him off the balcony. He was jealous of the attention that I gave my dog. A really extreme example, and I know people like to poke fun at this one, but Tyler Perry on For Colored Girls, where the guy threw the children off the balcony. That is super, super extreme, but it is true. An abusive person, an abusive partner will do anything to hurt you, even if that means hurting innocent people who are nearby. So people who are close to you that you care for, an abusive partner will hurt them. Everyone can be a casualty because it doesn't matter. Everyone can be a pawn as long as it results in hurting and hindering you. So one thing that I'm currently dealing with and trying to come to terms with and grappling is understanding that my ex understands that my son is a soft spot for me, and doing things, manipulative things that are hurtful to him because he knows it hurts me. So watch out for that. That's a telltale sign of abuse, wanting to hurt people close to you to get to you. Also, another telltale sign of abuse, isolation. They don't like you to hang out with friends or family. They'll call these people hoes, or will say they're promiscuous, or give all these reasons why you shouldn't be surrounded by these people, when the reality is they just want you to themselves. Also, like extreme jealousy and smothering. I remember early on in my relationship when I was with the abusive partner, this person, we would get into like disagreements, and this person would call me, like literally not even exaggerating, 30 times in a few hours, like back to back to back to back to back, until I picked up the phone. And early on, I thought, I was young and dumb, so I thought that was cute. And I thought that meant that, he loved me and cared for me. Now that I know that's that type of smothering behavior, that type of stalking behavior. Like my ex would randomly show up at places he knew I frequented when we were, not on good terms. In my naive teenage mind, early 20s mind, thought that meant that, that was love. That meant that, this person cared for me. But no, he was just being controlling and abusive. So that is definitely a big red flag. Also, someone who hurts themselves or threatens to hurt themselves. So I'll hear women say that sometimes, I broke up with him. Now he's talking about, he might commit suicide or he might hurt himself. That's all abusive tactics of a manipulative and sometimes narcissistic person who's trying to control you and is trying to use your empathy and your compassion to get their way. So they're trying to manipulate you and your feelings and your emotions to get your attention. Also, it tends to be like a cycle of abuse. So a lot of love bombing early on, they're the perfect person. It's like fairy tales. And flowers, showering you with gifts. You're the best thing since sliced bread, until they're upset and mad at you. Then you're the worst person on earth. And you're just so evil, and you're a piece of shit to them, and they'll say everything to berate and degrade you. And then once you guys are back on good terms, it starts all over again. You'll get the flowers again. You'll get the wine and dine dates, and you'll get the star treatment. And it just happens over and over and over again. So that's just a few tips that I immediately thought of while looking at, this TI story. A few telltale signs that if you're experiencing any of these things, there's a huge chance that you're in an abusive relationship. And I would encourage you not to wait. I think that women, a lot of the time, a major flaw for us is we like to think that things will get better, but in relationships, things don't get better like that. They always escalate and they always get worse. So I would encourage you, if you're experiencing or seeing any of those signs early on in a dating situation, don't wait until it's too late, because it will progress to physical abuse, and at that point, it is too late. So anywho, I might make this a series. That's just a few things, but there are several other signs that you can tell whether or not a person is physically abusive or is a domestic abuser. So I may make a part 2 of this, but those are just the major red flags I wanted to talk to you guys about. Anywho, that's all I have for now. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay sane. Until next time, see ya.